Good afternoon and a warm welcome to one and all present here in this virtual forum. I am Srijana, Assistant Professor, Kumuruguru Institutions. First of all, thank you for joining us for today's webinar. On behalf of the management, Kumuruguru Institutions, I welcome each one of you for this webinar. I would like to high spot the glimpses about the webinar. Short shock wave, strong pressure wave in any elastic medium such as air, water, or a solid substance produced by supersonic aircraft, explosions, lightning, or other phenomena that create violent changes in pressure. Recently, shockwave research has expanded to many fields of science, engineering, and technology. With their unique ability to enhance the pressure and temperature instantaneously in any medium of propagation, shock waves are now being used for many innovative applications in the industry. The capability of shock waves to generate nonlinear pressure and temperature spikes in the medium of propagation finds very interesting applications in variety of areas such as medicine, biological sciences, material processing, manufacturing, and microelectronic industries. Today, we are presenting on shock waves, a potential tool for tailoring materials property by Dr. S.A. Martin Britto Dhas. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please post them in the live chat on YouTube or kindly post your questions in the Q&A tab in the comment box. I shall bring them up during the presentation and we will also have time for questions at the end. After the session, all the participants are requested to fill the feedback survey form. The feedback form will be posted in the YouTube chat box. It will have access from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. today. As soon as you complete your feedback survey form, your certificate will be generated and it will be issued within a couple of days. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over Dr. Martin Britto Dhas. To introduce Dr. Martin Britto Dhas, he is an assistant professor of physics, Abdul Kalam Research Center, Sacred Heart College, Tirupattur. He was the postdoctoral fellow in the Department of Inorganic and Physical Chemistry, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. He has been selected for Young Scientist Fellowship Program by Tamil Nadu State Council for Science and Technology, Government of Tamil Nadu. He has bagged Best Scientific Working Model and Best Innovation Award from Society for Shockwave Research, India. He has 89 international publications and 3 patents filed. He is very well-known author and editor of many books, research journals, and hundreds of articles. Now, over to you, Professor Dr. Martin Britto Dhas.
Good afternoon to everybody. I'm Dr. Britto, working as a professor in Sacred Heart College. Now we will discuss about shock waves, a potential tool for tailoring the materials property. Generally, if you want to tune a material, we have 3 different methods are there, especially chemical methods. In chemical methods, we used to add some functional group in the parent material and we can tune the property of the particular material. Or you can change the polymorph of the material. Or you can add doping by changing the doping amount or changing the doping molecule. You can tune the property of a material. Also, suppose if you are a crystal grower, you can tune the property of a material crystal by changing the growth process, crystal growth process, like changing the environment, pH value, temperature, and pressure like that. Also, if you are working with the nanomaterials, you can tune the property of a material by changing the size of the material, size of the particles or shape of the particles. So by changing the shape and size, you can tune or you can tailor the property of a material, nanomaterials. There is another tool, it's called shock waves. The shock waves can be used as a probe or tool to change the or tailor the properties of material. Here we are going to discuss how a shock wave can be used for tuning a property of material, and you can make a or you can identify ideal material for potential applications. This lecture consists of first, I will take a few minutes to introduce what is shock wave. Some of you may be beginners for shock wave. So I will tell how what is shock wave, and how shock waves can be generated by shock tubes, and how the shock wave experiment can be done. And finally, we will discuss a little more on how the shock waves are changing the properties like that. In between, we will have some live demo, and I will show some shock tubes which are available in our laboratory, and how it can be operated. Those things we will discuss. What is shock wave? Shock wave means whenever energy is suddenly released, shock wave will generate. For an example, a bomb blasted. At that time, the shock wave will generate, and the shock wave will actually damage the things. This shock wave can be pressure, temperature shock, pressure shock, stress shock, or impact shock, or sound shock. These shock waves can propagate through the materials, and it can change the properties. This shock wave can interact with the molecules even at atomic levels. Atomic distance it can change, and it can modify the electronic structure of a molecule or material. Actually, recent one theory, one paper says that in the world lines are generated due to the shock waves. Suppose I am showing you a video. The first video, actually, is a real-time video. It's a bomb. This photo was taken by a special camera, high-speed camera. This is a shock wave. Actually, the bomb blasted. You can see the upper part. You see this one right now. That black color part. This is actually shock wave. When a bomb blasted, the shock wave will be leaving off that one. So whenever this wave moves, it will interact with the materials, and it will damage, or it will make many things. This is another example, shock wave example. You can see a person is actually shooting by a gun. When the bullet is going, actually this part, the shock wave will generate. So such a way that shock wave. Another example. This gadget, if that gadget is moving very fast, mean faster than the velocity of sound, it will generate shock waves. See, this is a shock wave. That's what the shape of the jet is like this. Generally, the shock wave will be generated in the nose of the aircraft. After generation, the shock wave will propagate through like this. If the shock wave touches this wing, the whole aircraft will collapse. That's what. If the velocity of the shock jet is very high, then the shape of the jet will be like the wings of the jet will be like this. So it will not touch the shock waves, will not touch the wings. There are the shock waves can be divided into three parts. Three classifications. One is laser shock, another one is static shock, and another one is dynamic shock. Laser shock means you know lasers and high energetic photon energy. The high energy photons will be exposed on the surface of the material as a pulse. It means a quantum of energy is falling or hitting the surface of the material. Generally, During the high energy lasers fabrications, the possibility of striking the material by the shock pulses or laser shock pulses is more. Therefore, the material should be able to withstand this shock pulses. That's what the people usually call it as shock damage threshold. You can see the two photograph of that one. This is actually a crystal. The shock pulses are exposed on the surface of the crystal. After a particular energy, the energy is very high. The crystal will damage. At what time, what energy this crystal is damaging? That is called shock damage, laser shock damage threshold. Similarly, there are another two, static shock. In this static shock, what is, you will take a material and you will give some pressure. You will give the pressure, like as like here. There are two plates. In between, you can keep the material and you can give very high pressure. The pressure is in the order of 100 to 200 gigapascal. If you give that much very high pressure, it will compress the molecule and it will change the interatomic distances, or it can change the electronic property of the material. So the property of the material will change. Though this type of shock compression materials are used to check whether a material is able to withstand high pressure or high shock or high temperature, like that. This type of material instruments are called as diamond anvil cell. Like example, by this type of shock compression instruments or diamond and anvil cells are used to create or prepare diamonds. If you take a graphite sheet and compress, it will become an amorphous diamond. Again, if you give more pressure, it will become a crystalline diamond, beautiful diamond, you will get it. It means if you give high pressure or if you have stress on a material, it will change its structures, or it will change its ordinary graphite, it will become as a diamond. So it is actually you are tuning the property of a material. Another type of shock is actually dynamic shock. You can see that three photos. I'm showing three photos here. The first one is actually it is actually a Mars rover entering into the Mars. During that time, this satellite or this rocket is hit with the atmosphere of the Mars. It will start as a sudden hit, so it is generating shock waves. That's what this shock waves. Actually, similarly, this one, the China spaceship re-enters in the Earth atmosphere. It is coming back to the Earth and it is hitting with the surface of the atmosphere and it is generating a huge amount of shock waves. If the spacecraft is not able to withstand the shock, it will burst out. That's what we need materials. We need to identify some materials to be used in spacecraft with withstand these shock waves. The third photo, you can see a person is dropping a stone on the ground. Even this stone can generate mild amount of shock. Suppose if it is a crystal, it is hitting on the floor, it will generate a mild amount of shock waves, and that shock wave is good enough to change the properties of the materials. That's what in each and every package of the crystal manufacturers, they will mention that this much amount of energy can be withstood by this crystal. In some cases, in some crystals or some nanomaterials, even if you give that much amount of shock waves, it will not change its property. It will not change anything like that. That's what we are going to discuss it here. This type of dynamic shock waves can be generated naturally by lightning, earthquake, tsunami, like that. And why people are worrying about this shock waves? Generally, like bomb explosion, like lightning, like earthquake, the shock waves are generally destructive in nature. But people are trying to make these shock waves for constructive purposes. If you can generate some shock, these are all accidental things. Then earthquake or bomb blast or falling down a crystal to the floor. This is accidental are those things. This shock waves, the energy of the shock waves cannot be, we cannot actually control. But if you can control the shock waves, you can use this shock wave for different applications. Those are we are going to discuss here. As I said told you earlier, some material actually this is big chances ideal material for spacecraft applications, military applications, nuclear power plant applications, those things. Because some of the materials are having very good efficiency, but they will have less stability. But some materials have very good stability against the environment, against the environment, like shock wave or some other environmental issues. But their efficiency is very less. Both the things are not okay for real-time applications. So we need high efficiency, high stability material. As I told you earlier, this shock waves can be used as a probe as well as tool. Probe means we can identify whether a material can withstand shock waves or not, whether a material can withstand high pressure, high temperature, or sudden impact we can withstand. And in another way, it can be used as a tool to change the property, to change the stability of the material. That's what we are going to discuss a little more. In shock wave, thermal shock, as I told you, thermal shock, pressure shock, or stress shock. These are one-dimensional shocks. But in the case of dynamic shock, it has temperature, pressure, and dynamic impact as well as stress. So, in general, this type of shock, dynamic shock waves are more important, it has more potential in the case of applications. That's what we are going to discuss here. I am showing you a few shock tubes. Shock tubes, as I told you earlier, we can control the shock tubes and use it for applications. Shock tubes can be in the laboratory by using shock tubes. Even in India, we have few laboratories that are working with shock tubes. Which I am showing you for some of the shock tubes here. These shock tubes can generate huge amount of shock tubes, and you can control the strength of the shock wave, and you can redirect, or you can direct the shock wave wherever you want to hit it. So those things are called as shock tubes. While doing this, whenever we are talking about the shock waves and shock tubes, you have to talk about Dr. Professor KP Reddy. Before 2005, there was a myth like that shock waves can be generated naturally or accidentally or artificially, like bomb blast. But Reddy came and he suggested such a way that even human can generate shock waves. And he proposed a shock tube that is called Reddy tube. By hand itself, you can operate that shock tube, and you can use it for many applications. That's why I'm going to here. Let's see, all the shock tubes are having three parts. One is called, this is called driver section and driven section, and one diaphragm section. Driver section means it is high pressure, and this diaphragm, if you increase the pressure in these hollow tubes, it is separated by a diaphragm. If you increase this pressure here, diaphragm will rupture and the shock wave will generate. What Reddy did bigger, it's an ordinary conventional shock tube. What he has done, he took a ordinary syringe, medical syringe, and he told that we can generate the shock waves by using this syringe. As you see, ordinary medical syringe, and he made it as a shock tube. See, you can see the photo here. Syringe. It's a piston. This is a tube. See, he made the driver section. It's a diaphragm, so ordinary plastic tube, plastic paper, and this is one driven section. What he has done, just he put that diaphragm in between that piston and the needle, and give the pressure through this one. At a particular pressure, it ruptures and shock wave generated. What he has done, he just took the photograph by a very high speed camera, and he showed this. You could see that this is a shock. You can see now, this is a shock wave, and you can see this shock wave. Interestingly and surprisingly, he proved that this shock waves has the temperature of 900 Kelvin and the pressure 3.5 Pascal. You know, see, when you are giving the pressure here, the air in the column will be compressed, and it is coming out. When it is coming out, all the air will come together and become as a thin air layer, and it will pass through that driver section very fast. If the velocity of that air layer more than the velocity of sound, then you can tell it as a shock wave. Then he made it as a metal by metal. This is driver section, this is driven section, and this is diaphragm section. You can put the one ordinary paper, butter paper, or paper. You can keep it, and if you do the pressure by hand like this piston, you can press it at a particular. The diaphragm will rupture and shock wave will come out. That's what now this is called as Reddy tube. So now this Reddy tube can be things very simple. A few things, very few I will tell you. This can work in kidney stone treatment. What you can do? Suppose if your kidney stone is there, just you can just directly on the kidney stone. You will go and rupture your kidney stone. Will come no medicine. And another one is shock wave assisted needleless drug delivery. Inject a medicine to the body. What you can do, you can just chuck the drug wherever you want to apply and give a small shot without any pain, without knowing this medicine will go to the body. That's what is called as needleless drug delivery. This was invented by Professor Reddy and Justice India. This is the first invention of needleless drug delivery. Very simply, they have made it. Now it became as commercial, and now this type of shock tubes are used for the characterization of materials and tuning the properties of the materials. Right. The same way, actually, we also right now we are also working in the same field. We are trying to make a Reddy tube, and wanted to investigate on the materials behavior by the shock waves. Till 2015, these shock waves were used in aerodynamics and aerospace applications. This shock wave field is very old field. From 1965, you can get the literature. Especially the shock waves are used only in aerodynamics and aerospace departments. But after 2010 and 15, people slowly use these shock waves are in organic and inorganic materials, especially in crystals and nanomaterials. And they are getting very good response. By simple shock tubes, you can tune the property, you can can withstand the shock waves or not. That's what we have made a shock tube. I'm showing this on the PowerPoint. You can see. So very simply replicated the Reddy tube. We took 2 pipes. driver section and this is driven section. This is diaphragm section. So what is the difference between Reddy and this tube? What Reddy has done, he attached with a pin piston with the driver section. This is a driver section. Actually, engineering point of view, making a piston with a reactor is very difficult and it's costly also. So what we have done, just we have replaced that piston by a cycle pump. Just what you can do, you can keep a diaphragm here and you fix the diaphragm section and connect this cycle pump here and press it. You, at a particular pressure, this paper, the diaphragm which is placed here will be ruptured. So shock wave will come out. So we have made it, and it was actually the Reddy shock waves. But the problem is you have to confirm that whether it is shock wave or not. For that you have to find the velocity of the shock wave. If the velocity of shock wave is more than the velocity of sound wave, you can say it is shock wave. For that, what Reddy has done? He used two piezoelectric sensors, and by using that piezoelectric sensor, he found out the velocity of the shock wave, and since it is more than 1.5, he claimed it is a shock wave. But the cost of this piezoelectric sensor is each 1 lakh, so it is very costly. So what we have done, as a homemade, we have taken 2 microphones. This is shock tube, this is cycle pump, and we have extended this driven section a little more. And we have put 2 ordinary 20 rupees microphone, here one, here. And we have given the pressure. At a particular pressure, this paper diaphragm rupture. And the shock wave generated here and passes through like this, travels through like this. And we have connected these 2 microphones with the computer and it recorded simultaneously. So when it reaches, the shock wave reaches this first microphone, it gives one signal. And when it reaches here, give another signal. As you know, there's a time lag must be. So this is my time lag here. See, I have just zoomed out. See, there's a small time. This is because of the first microphone. This is because of the second microphone. That's a time lag. I know the distance between these 2 microphones and I know the time lag, so I can find out the velocity. By using this method, we could find out the velocity is more than 600 meters per second. So we can simply claim that it is more double the time of the sound waves. So I can call it as a shock waves. How we can measure the strength of the shock wave means velocity of this wave divided by velocity of sound. If it is more than 1, that is shock wave. So this is the comparison of Reddy tube and the bicycle assisted Reddy tube. The Mach number, this is called a Mach number. The strength of the shock wave can be measured by a unit called a Mach number. Reddy tube can generate 1.5 Mach number, but ours can make 2.0 Mach number. And the velocity measurement tool is actually piezoelectric pressure gauge, each 1 lakh, but ours is microphone 20 rupees. The cost of the Reddy tube is 3 lakhs, but ours is less than 3,000. That's what anybody can make it. Just I can do one day. I can show you the shock tube what we have made here. Just please see the video. I am showing this one. Right. I hope you can see that one. This is the shock tube. This is a shock tube. I hope you can see. This is actually driver section. Here you can use this cycle pump. You can connect it here. This part is driver section, and this part is actually a diaphragm section. You can connect like this, and you can, if you press it, it will generate pressure here and it will rupture here. shock wave will come out. This is very simple. Anybody can use it. Anybody can make it. Even I can open it. This one. I have used G clamps to connect this. I will show. That's all. Here, this is simply you can keep this ordinary A4 sheet. You can keep it and put it like this, and again you can put the G clamp and give the pressure through here. Somewhere it will rupture and shock will come out through here. So when you are doing this, when you, suppose if you are making this one, you can always keep it tight, and you can use a cycle pump this side, and this side, and this you can connect it. Shock will come out, and you can keep the sample. There are 3 G clamps are here, and you can put the diaphragm here. You can give high pressure here, and the shock will come out. I will show you the things later. Right. So what we have done with this shock, that is a little more interesting to show you. Right. I think the internet connection is slow. And now I am showing the repeating the direction of Reddy tube and shock tube. The Mach number can be generated by Reddy tube is 1.5 Mach number, and Dhas tube can generate Mach number 2 by our bicycle assisted shock tube. And the cost of this tube is 3 lakhs. Our shock tube is 3,000 rupees. The velocity measurement is piezoelectric precision gauge, and this cost 1 lakh. We need 2 piezoelectric sensors, so it is 2 lakhs. And ours is microphone. Only 2 microphones, 20 rupees. What we have done with this one? First, I will tell you the materials. What we have done, we have taken two it's called array. We took the seeds and give few shots seed. Then we cultivated both as a control and shock treated. After daily we were monitoring this plant, and we found that this is the thing. You can see the things now. This is without shock. The seed with the plant which was grown by the without shock treatment. This is with the shock treatment. What is happening? These shock waves are inducing the germination of the plants. That's what after 29 days, this is the result. So it means that these shock waves are stimulating the growth of the plants. And also we have tried with different varieties of plants like paddy, some grains, black grains. Those are giving actually more yield than the control. And in some cases, the shock treated plants are showing little lesser growth. It depends the plants. And another very good example is water treatment by shock waves. You can see there are 2 beakers are here. We have taken 1 beaker of water and gave shocks, around 50 shocks. After giving 50 shocks, this is actually before shock. It's a very highly transparent, and this is actually after shock. It is turbid like. After keeping this shock treated sample water for 5 minutes, we could see some precipitates here. You can see. So all the salts which are dissolved in the water deposited on the bottom, and we have filed a patent for this one. So that's what I mean. This shock waves can be used as a shock water treatment, but the salt separation is not much, not 100%, only 35% of water is salt is removed. We have to work more to optimize this separation. Things are actually work is on process. Similarly, we have taken some pickle. This is called instant pickle maker. We took some lemon and put some masala and gave shock. You can see this is before shock, this is after shock. After giving 50 shocks, the lemon becomes pickle. That's what we called it. Professor Reddy made a name for this one called instant pickle maker. And also we have tried with the milk, whether we can use this shock waves as milk preservator or not. You know, nowadays milks are preserved by adding some chemicals and putting it in the freezer. We want to do whether what we can do something with this shock waves with this milk like that. So we have given different number of shocks to this milk, and we have observed what is happening like that. You can see the photo here. The first one, non-treated, it's a control. And this is actually 100 shock given after 3 hours. You can see after the control after 9 hours, at actually now 9 hours, the non-treated becomes highly spoiled. But the amount of the bacterial growth and the fungal growth is more. But for a particular Mach number, and 100 shock pulses hit given milk is as it was not rotten or not spoiled. So this shock waves can be used as milk preservative. I told you, I have shown earlier about that one shock tube, bicycle assisted shock tube, and this it can be operated manually. So it will take around 1 minute to generate a shock. So if you want to give 100 shocks, it will take enormous amount of time. To minimize that time, we have made a automatic shock tube. That's what you are seeing on the screen. You can see this shock tube also having 3 parts. This is driver section, this is driven section, this is actual compressor. By using this compressor, you can make high pressure here, and you can put this paper, it will automatically roll and it will come here. And this is pneumatic cylinders, they will go and just join, and you will generate a series of shocks. By this shock tube, you can generate at minimum 20 shocks per minute as per your speed like that. So yeah, the actual conventional shock tubes, what I have showed earlier, they will take at least half an hour per shock. But this type of shock tubes, automatic shock tubes, can generate 20 shocks per minute. Also, you can change the strength of the shock waves. That you can see this paper, this paper. If you can change the thickness of the paper, or if you put double paper, the Mach number will be more, the strength will be more. Suppose if you put one plastic sheet, the Mach number will be more. It means the strength of the shock is more. So that's what we call it as automatic shock tube. What are things can do with this crystal or nanomaterials we can see. This is a schematic diagram of a shock tube, as I told you. I showed you. The example is here. We have some simply selected 5 crystals for this shock tube experiment. What will happen with the things? I will tell you fast. You can okay. See, you can see There I'm showing two photographs of this crystal. What we have taken, what we have done, we have taken ADP crystal, ammonium dihydrogen phosphate crystal, crystal, that is ADP. What we have done, that a single crystal we took, and we have given one single shot, and we have taken the XRD. What is happening like that? You can see this is a control black hole. It got two peaks. It is called twin peak. After a shot, this XRD pattern became a singlet. It means that the crystal perfection has improved by the propagation of shock waves. It means that the area we got two peaks. It means that the planes are little distant. After passing through the shock, after passing shock, all the plane becomes aligned. So it is giving single shock, single pass. What is happening actually? Actually, when shock wave passes through the crystal, as I told you, this shock waves has the temperature more than 90 degree Kelvin and pressure around 25 megapascal. When it passes through the crystal, it will melt the crystal and it will become a recrystalline. So whenever the recrystallization is happening, the crystal will improve always. That's what we also observed here. That's what the XRD pattern gives, single peak than double peak. You can see this is a thermal property of this crystal. Before shock, the thermal diffusivity is 0.678 for ADP crystal. After that, it becomes 1.44. Sorry, after shock, it becomes 1.5. It is 3 times thermal diffusivity value is increased after shock. It means that the crystal perfection is improved. And if the thermal diffusivity is improved, this type of material can be used for high power laser irradiations. Because during the high power laser irradiations, enormous amount of heat will generate. That heat will dissipate through the crystal if the thermal diffusivity is more. That's what I'm telling. That stability of the material has improved by the propagation of shock waves. The same thing we have done with the KDP crystal. This is KDP crystal, and this is XRD. This is before shock. This is after shock, and this thermal diffusivity is like this, like this. We could understand that after the XRD, after the shock wave treatment, there is no change we have observed. For this is before shock, this is after shock, and the thermal diffusivity also not changed much. So we can conclude from that one, KDP can withstand shock waves, and it is an opt material for laser, high power laser generation and high power laser irradiations, because the crystalline nature is not changed, not altered. So it is stable against shock waves. This is another very interesting result. This is benzyl crystal, cotton polyester crystal. What we have done, we have taken the crystal and just passed one shot. Then we have checked the transparency by using the UV visible spectrometer. But we could find that, see, the transparency is increased from 38 to 32 to 35. And then again we have next shot. So like we have given 11 shots. For each and every shot, the transparency is increasing. See, 39 to almost 42%. This is the report to improve the transparency of the crystal after growing. Generally, by optimizing growth condition, you can increase the crystalline perfection and increasing the transparency. But in this case, by applying shock waves, you can increase the transparency. This is another one. ADP same we have to discuss earlier. See, the same thing we have done with that one. When we are giving the shock waves, it is increasing. Transparency is increasing. But after a particular time, it is started to decrease. So up to 6 shocks increasing, then it is going down. Why it is going down? When the shock wave hit the surface of the material, it is slowly damaging the surface. Though crystallinature is improving, the surface is damaging slowly. Therefore, the incident light is scattered. Therefore, the resultant transparency slowly decreasing. This is the example, as I told you. You can see the micrograph of the surface of the crystal. This is control. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. After 6, you can see some defect. Slowly, the defect is increasing. That's what. After some number of pulses, the transparency slowly decreases. Though the crystallinity increases, transparency decreases. This is the copper sulfate crystal. This is a crystal. The same thing we have done. We have slowly increased the shock numbers, pulses. It is transparency increases and slowly decreases. The same phenomena after few shocks, it is actually becoming as the surface is slowly damaging. So up to 6 shocks you can use it. Up to some level you can increase the transparency of the material. Ordinary single crystals. This is another interesting crystal. See, this is a XRD of a 1 case crystal. It's a single unidirectional ground crystal. It is giving only one peak for the diffraction. And after giving first shock, it is completely becoming like this. XRD is becoming like this. And second shock, it is becoming old one. Actually, this is actually the phase is transferring from one phase to another phase. That's what. The same thing is replicated in the Raman spectrum also. This is for control. You can see the number of 3 peaks are there. After first shock, the pattern is completely different. And the second shock again came back. So reversible phase transformation. This is orthogonal phase group. This is tetragonal phase group. So if you give the shock to the orthogonal phase group, it will become as first shock tetragonal, and tetragonal becomes again shock. This is the first report of charge state reversible phase transformation by shock waves. This is a powder benzophone. I hope you know benzophone is a very soft material. The melting point is only 45 degrees. But interestingly, if you give the shock for the benzophone crystal, it is not at all affecting the crystallinity. That's what we have proved it. See, this is a control crystal. We have given 50 shocks for the powder sample of benzophone. All the peaks are generated as it is. There is no change in the peak. Even if we have zoomed it, so almost the things are, see, everything is same. So that's what we mean, that soft doesn't mean that it is not strong. So even the benzophone is very soft material. It is highly up to withstand shock waves. These are examples. Now we can discuss about crystalline materials. This is we have taken titanium oxide crystals, nanomaterials, and shock. This is a XRD of control. This is, we have given 30 shocks and 60 shocks and 90 shocks. After each and every 30, usually we took the control to the XRD, then we have given 30 shocks, then XRD, then 60 shocks, then XRD, then 90 shocks XRD. Interestingly, actually it was initially actually annotated in phase. The control is annotated in phase. After giving 90 shocks, the phase is completely transferred to annotate to rotile phase. See, this is rotile phase. Completely, see, this peak is completely newly generated. It's missing in the annotate phase. This peak corresponds to rotile phase. So this shock waves can change the phase of nanomaterials even. It is working with the crystals also. You can see the Raman. See, very interesting things. See, this is annotate phase. This is a rotile phase, rotile phase, rotile phase. So it has no mixed phase. But in the case of Z, you can see that we have grown the nanorods. We have given shock. Even we have given 200 shocks, but there was no change at all. So we can conclude that this Z nanoparticles can be the better material, ideal material for shock withstanding materials. This can be used for aerospace materials and rockets and the military, those things like that. The material, you can see we have given shock. Uh, this is the control 50 shock, 100 shock, and 150 shock. You can see the exact pattern is almost the same, but the magnetic properties are changing. And the morphology, you can see it's a control, irregular pattern. And this is 50 shock, this is 100 shock, 150 shock. You can see the morphology is completely changed. Due to this morphology change, the magnetic properties also changed. So here you can change the shape of the material, nanoparticles, and you can tune the magnetic properties. See the ferroelectric is paramagnetic materials. So antiferromagnetic material. So you can tune the magnetic material properties by exposing it to the shock waves. So another interesting thing. See the AC nanoparticles. Initially, this is the control. This is actually 50 shock, 100 shock, and 150 shock. You can see the UV. The morphology you can see is a control, black one. This is morphology. Actually, the size is actually around 500, around actually 50 nanometer. But when you give 50 shock, it becomes like, and slowly this SPR peak is moving and size is also changing. You can see size distribution. Finally, after 150 shock, the size of the nanoparticles are narrowed down, and you can see the SPR peak also. It is great evidence. So that's what you can change the size of nanomaterial by exposing it to the shock wave, and by changing the size, you can change the shape of the material. This is another copper oxide nanoparticle. Copper oxide nanoparticles is very good material for aerospace materials, aerospace applications, because after 200 shock, there was no change observed there. There is no change in the crystallinity. There is no change in the crystalline alignment, and there is no change in the properties also. That's what we recommend. This copper oxide nanoparticles can be used in aerospace materials. Actually, in fact, it is used in nanoparticles, the aerospace materials, aero vehicles. The outside painting of a satellite is made of copper nanoparticles because of this shock resistant. You can see the yes, there is no change at all. The size or shape, anything is not changing. This is still agglomeration, but the individual particles are not changed. That's the thing. This is the final slide I'm showing you. The another interesting material, we have taken cobalt CO3O4, cobalt oxide, and we have given 150 shocks. After 150 shock, it becomes COO. The transformation of CO3O4 from that one, it becomes COO. It's a great, actually, good work actually. The by shock waves, it proved that this type of ordinary shock waves can transfer the phase of cobalt oxide from CO3 to O4, CO3O4 to COO nanoparticle. Accordingly, you can see the magnetic property. It is like this, and after 50 shock, it becomes like this. Even after 100, it becomes, and after 150 shock, it came back to this original shape. So that's what again it is reversible here. By changing the crystalline system, we can alter the property of a material. Here it is magnetic material. I can conclude such a way that we have successfully generated shock waves by using homemade shock tube, and we have studied the impact of shock waves for the technologically important crystalline material and nanomaterials, and it is working with crystals as well as shock tubes, so the nanomaterials. So these shock waves can be used as a very good tool for tuning the properties, and we can very well use this shock tubes as a tool to identify the the stable material against shock waves. This is our group. We are working with the shock wave. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Martin Britto Dhas, for being an excellent presenter highlighting the potential tool for tailoring materials property. Now, we'll go ahead and take some questions for now. Just a reminder, please be sure to type your questions into the Q&A box in your comment tab or live chat. It looks like we have so many questions since we have many participants, but I think we can go ahead with a few consolidated questions. So the first question is, what are the upper and lower frequencies emerging from shock tube you showed?
Yes, it's a very good question actually. This title actually misleads us. As I told you, shock wave is actually not a wave. The compressed air is compressed and the thin layer of air layer, micrometer size. This air layer is actually moving like this. So that's what always we will see this what is called this the strength of the shock wave is a Mach number, but in terms of velocity. So we cannot tell actually directly the frequency of the shock wave. You can tell the Mach number, velocity, 1.5 Mach number, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. The Mach number increases, the strength of the shock wave is also increases. No frequency, you can calculate the energy and indirectly you can calculate the frequency. What I am telling is, inside the air layer, there are so many waves will be inside, but as a total, the thin layer of air is actually moving with very, very high velocity. That's what.
Thank you, sir. We will have one more question. Will shock waves affect the human body?
It's another interesting question. Many people are working in that field. Again, it depends on the strength of the shock wave. If the shock wave is, so many theories are there, still actually it is under research. As I told you, the shock wave can interact with the molecules, even atoms, atomic level. So it can easily interact with the chromosome and RNA, DNA. So again, I'm telling you, it is under research. But if the Mach number is very less, like 1, 2, 3, 4, no problem. There is no evidence of problem with the shock. No, still no evidence. But if the Mach number is very high, definitely problem.
One more last question, sir. Is there any relation between shock waves and solitary waves?
Solitary waves are little different from this one, actually. Both are completely different.
Thank you, sir. That was really an astounding Q&A session. Sir, is there anything else you want to cover before a wrap up, sir?
If the people want, they can show the automatic shocking at the video mode.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Martin Britto Dhas. Kumaraguru institutions would like to express our gratitude in this huge forum. I'm sure that the participants would have benefited. Thank you, sir. I thank all the panelists, technical support team, and the organizers for having supported for this big event. And I thank all the participants. We appreciate each one of you being here. I'm sure you are benefited of this avenue and hoist the flag of accomplishments. We have an announcement to remind you once again. All are requested to fill the feedback survey form. The feedback form link is posted in YouTube comment and chat box and can be accessed till 3 p.m. today. As soon as you complete your feedback survey form, your e-certificate will get generated and you will receive the certificates via email in a couple of days. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up our webinar. On behalf of Kumaraguru Institutions, I thank each one of you for making time to join us here this afternoon. It's been our pleasure to host this great event and I wish you all success. Thank you everyone for joining us today. This is Srijana signing off.